Hey, it's Claude Larson. I'm down here in my studio and I just want to talk to you about getting back into creating and making art after you've been away from it for a while. So, whether you've been traveling, holidays taking things over, just gotten out of the habit and keep wanting to get back, um, this is something, I was doing some traveling and the holidays rolled around and life is busy. So I wanted to get back into it. And I think one of the great ways, like people make these New Year's resolutions. It's January 3rd right now. People make these New Year's resolutions, right? Like, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, or I'm going to go to the gym every day, or whatever. And they make this big grand thing. And more often than not, I hate to say, but more often than not, people just don't see it through. So if you want to get back into making art, whatever time of year this is for you, whatever has been going on prior to this, let me just tell you about my low stakes, keep the bar low. And it makes it a lot easier to get back into it. So I have this, somebody told me this is called carnival glass. This is an old punch bowl that I got at like an auction. It was part of a box lot. I didn't particularly want the bowl, but it came with everything else that I did want. So this was full of fabric scraps. So I took the scraps and I dumped them into a clear container. That's a lot of scraps. And anybody who's a quilter, you just start accumulating all this fabric and you won't throw like a square inch of it away. Just like if you make collage, like little scraps, you hold on to them. Oh, this is an interesting, post office, they have like the wavy lines and tells you where it came from. Like, you're going to rip that off the envelope and keep it, or magazine page, calendar page, whatever. And we have all these little things and we don't know what to do with them, but we don't want to throw them away because they're just too good to throw away. So what I did was I had a stash of some snow-dyed fabrics that some were more successful than others, and I didn't really have a goal for them. It was just something I was experimenting with. So I had some, what I'm going to call background fabrics, right? If you're a painter, some backgrounds. And then I just started using up my scraps. These are not precious. These are the cutoffs of other things that I have worked on. And now I have this whole pile of scraps that would and could be otherwise utterly useless, except that it's low stakes and I can play with them. And that's what I started to do. So here's one that I've just sort of got it pinned together, right? You see, this is a background. This was hand dyed. And these are all just scraps that came out of the bin. Now I end up putting them together, playing with composition, playing with, what color makes another color pop, things like that. And I'm just messing around. Nothing's precious. And I can make as many of these as I have scraps for. The scraps won't go to waste. And it's low stakes. I'm not like, I'm going to make a giant quilt that's going to take me 6 months to complete. Chances are, if I put that kind of pressure on myself, I will not see that through. And that's true for a lot of us, I think. So here's what happened after I committed to just messing around with stuff that isn't necessarily my good pieces of fabric, right? Or, same thing with your collage paper or something else that you have laying around that is not precious to you, right? So here's what happened. So this is some of the pieces that I've completed using some snow-dyed fabrics that were maybe not fully interesting all on their own. They weren't so bad that I would throw them away. God forbid I throw a piece of fabric away. This one was actually just like terrible. I was like, eek, what am I going to do with that? It was like beyond chartreuse green. It was so bright. And I couldn't even tell you what I put on the fabric, like what color dyes I used. And I ended up making these pieces, which I will show picture by picture by the end of the video. Now, this was just low stakes playing around. So it's essentially like doing collage, but instead of using bits of paper, I used bits of fabric. Instead of matte medium gluing them down, I stitched them down. I still have a bunch of these. They're super fun. I can come down here when I have 15 minutes. I can come down here when I have an hour and a half. Sometimes I just disappear down here. Time flies. I don't even know where the time has gone, which is great if I don't have another commitment and someplace to be. So if you want to get back into your art, basically what I'm saying, don't give yourself a huge goal. Don't start with a huge project, and don't start with precious materials, because there's this period of warming up before you get into a real flow of like something that you want to make. And often as I'm making things, the idea for what the next big thing will be, it arrives, right? It shows itself when I'm working. If I weren't working on something little and playful, I might never get that idea. So hope that helps. I hope you have some materials that you've been ignoring that aren't super precious to you, and just go play and see what happens. All right. Have a great day. Go have some fun. Thanks for being here. Bye.